Blessings, beautiful people. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me on this video. It's something that I wanted to share for such a long time, and to be honest, I had a lot of resistance to sharing this topic because it hits me on such a personal level, but I feel like there has been so many different things this year in 2017 that's really triggered me to look at this topic and to share my own experiences, and maybe in some way or another it might help someone who's thinking about coming to Spain or is actually looking to hear more experiences about Spain. Maybe it might help someone out there. So this is a little bit of a heart to heart on the sofa, chilling out, sharing, connecting, just being honest about my experiences in Spain as a woman of color. So, firstly, a lot of you might be wondering why I want to talk about this topic. And for many people out there, including some of my friends, they don't actually realize that Spain for me is a personal topic. It's a personal place that I feel connected to because my nationality is Spanish. I'm biracial. My mother is born and raised in Madrid, and that side of the family are all from different parts of Spain. So Spain has always been, it's in my blood, and it's also a country that I've been visiting since I was little. So it's been, a super journey in seeing how it's changed over the years. And I want to share this video so you can see maybe an insider and an outsider point of view of what it's like to be a person of color in Spain today. But before I get into this video, I just want to say that anything that I'm sharing is just my personal experiences. It's not to generalize that every single Spaniard is a certain way. It's not to offend anyone. As I said, these are just my experiences and just being completely honest with you about how my life has been connecting to this country and to the different cultures in Spain. So, please don't take any offense to it. I'd like to keep it positive. Even though a lot of challenges have happened over the years, I still like to keep it positive, and I will share a lot of positive things that are going on in Spain at the moment that you might be interested in as well. The second thing I'd really encourage everyone to do is to learn a little bit about the Black history in Spain. And I say this because even Spaniards don't really know the full connection that Spain has with Africa and African cultures and African countries. They're just so closely linked, and this is through the Moors, this is through black slavery as well. It's just so much, there's just centuries and centuries of history in Spain today that make up the culture, that make up what modern Spain is today. And it's been interesting this year in 2017 because many of you have probably been watching the news and seeing the whole topic of Catalonia independence. There's I would say it feels like there's a little bit of an identity crisis in Spain because Spain is made up of so many different regions, each with its culture, its language, its food, etc. And this year has been a real big turning point in Spaniards asking themselves what Spain is today in modern Spain. And you have to remember that the Constitution and modern Spain is still very new. It's not been that long ago since Franco died, and there's still a lot of baggage that I feel Spaniards are working with. Add to this the fact that Spain today is, even up until maybe 15 years ago, is completely different. It's so much more diverse. There are people from so many different cultures that have made Spain their home. There are even people from second and even third generations of different cultures that have made Spain their home, and from different parts of the world as well. So the Spain you're experiencing today has come a long way in so many different things, but at the same time, there still needs to be a process where people are asking the questions and digging deeper in the social issues that are coming up with it. And this is still very new in Spain. So it's exciting times. It's really exciting times. And again, I'll share my experiences of what made me realize this on a personal level as well. And yeah, from insider point of view, as I said, I am Spanish. My family, half of my family are Spanish. The other side of me is African from Sudan. So I was born in Sudan. I have Sudanese roots, but at the same time, I'm a third culture kid. So I was brought up away from my countries of origin, mainly in the UK, but in other countries as well. And as an outsider, I obviously don't look Spanish. My first language is English, not Spanish. So anytime I talk to a Spaniard, they automatically assume that I'm a tourist or someone visiting from America or the UK. And then when they see my DNI, which is like the national card that you get over here, they're really surprised and shocked to see that I actually have roots in Spain. And sometimes it brings up a lot of things and a lot of different reactions as well, which has been very interesting. So, yeah, that's a whole other topic in itself, but just the sheer reaction of people coming into terms face to face with someone who is actually a person of color and Spanish has been an interesting, it's been an interesting experience. So many people have asked what it was like to come to Spain back in the day. And I'm going to show my age here now, but I'm talking about being a child of the 80s. So I was born in 1980. And when I was younger, we used to come to Spain all the time, like almost every single year to visit family. And it was something that I really looked forward to be honest. It was something when I was really young, I really enjoyed doing, mainly because I have a really supportive, beautiful family from Spain. And they've never showed me anything apart from sheer love and acceptance, which is something that I feel incredibly grateful for, because I know there's a lot of friends who are also biracial and half Spanish who haven't had that experience. But my family have been wonderful. So for me, my childhood, coming to Spain to visit was a very positive experience. But I think I would say in the late 80s, I think around the late 80s, so around that time when you're just bringing awareness to your environment on a much more deeper level, I started to realize that some of the reactions that I was getting from people, I'm talking about grown adults as a child, was very direct and very negative and very insulting as well. And this was not just on one occasion. This was not just in one area of Spain, so it wasn't just in Madrid. I remember going to different parts of Spain because on our holidays we used to travel a lot to different parts of Spain as well, and I would repeatedly get the same experience, not just to me but also to my brother and my father as well, which it started to make me question. It started to make me question a lot of things, especially from the older generation of Spaniards who maybe were brought up during the Franco time, and all those kind of old, ridiculous attitudes from back in the day. And it made me very uncomfortable, because it was so direct. One thing about Spaniards I notice is that they're very direct in what they think. If they don't like you, they will make you know that. If they like you, they will also show you. But when they insult you, it seems to be very, very direct. And this was just pure racism, absolutely pure racism as a child. As an innocent child just walking down the street or waiting for friends to come out of their building so we can go out and play, and then being confronted with that. It was just pure negativity at that time. And I'll be honest with you, it made me realize that I did not feel connected to Spain. I did not feel connected to Spain. I felt there was something very aggressive in Spanish culture. And reflecting back now on maybe some of the reasons, as I said, Spain is still a very modern country. It wasn't in the 80s, it wasn't that long ago that they were going through a Franco period and old attitudes. I also remember on the TV there used to be a lot of really negative programs, mainly from America, mainly for America, but also from different parts of the world, that were dubbed in Spanish and always showed black people in the worst light. So they were always really stupid. They were always poor. They were always looking like a hot mess. They were always in a really negative way, you know. They were always drug addicts. They were always thieves, that sort of thing. And also add to that, and even today, the whole topic of being a black person, or specifically a person from Africa, seems to be challenging for a lot of people, and also negative for a lot of Spaniards, because unfortunately, when you walk down the streets, for example, I'll give you Madrid and Barcelona as an example, you will see groups of Africans who are new to the country. Many of them are new to the country. Maybe many of them are also illegal to the country, who arrived by boat and who are innocently maybe just traveling to Spain to find a better life. And you see them in groups, and they'll be selling, different things in the main market squares and stuff like that. And for many Spaniards who maybe don't have direct contact with people of color, maybe for them, especially back in the day when there wasn't any positive image of a person of color, for them maybe that was the image of black people. And I just remember as a child knowing that I did not want to be brought up in Spain. And this was, as I said, in the 80s, going on into the 90s. And for a long period of time, I didn't return back to Spain. I was busy in the UK doing school. I was in school. I went on to go to uni. I went to London for uni, which was a wonderful experience. And for me, that was such an essential part of growing up, because I could actually explore people from different cultures without all that stereotyping and without all the negativity. I could learn about people of color from all over the world, and I had just this amazing experience of learning about myself and learning through these different cultures. And I'm so glad, I would never, being honest, I would never want to have been anywhere else than the UK at that point in my life, because I learned so much about myself, and also learned about being proud of who I am, being proud of being half Sudanese, being proud that I was born in Sudan, being proud that I have African family and African roots. And that confidence has, it just really sparked up so many different things. And during that period of time, I didn't go back to Spain. I assumed that Spain would still be in the old frame of negativity that I experienced. But in 2007, after about 10 years of not going back to Spain, I had to return back to Madrid because of some family events that were going on. And this was the point where I realized Spain had completely changed, or was evolving and going through some changes. And this was when I was going to my local shopping mall. And this is in, quite a central location in Madrid. And I remember as a child, it would be a very traditional shopping mall. I would be literally the only person of color. They would be only selling traditional foods and that sort of thing. And then returning back in 2007 and literally seeing that the crowds were a whole variety of different cultures. I could see people from Chinese background. I can see people from Filipino background. I could see people from South America and all the different backgrounds that come with being South American, from being dark-skinned to light-skinned. And I just stood there. I remember just standing there in the beginning and just taking it all in, and being completely amazed of the difference in such a short space of time, during 1997 to 2007, not coming to Spain and seeing the huge impact and change of just your local crowds, So I won't lie to you, something inside of me felt really excited. Something inside of me felt like finally there was some sort of shift that was going on in Spain today. And it was a long time coming, it was a long time coming. And this sparked off an interest to maybe explore my Spanish side a little bit more, to return more to Spain. Even now, I spend so much time in Spain. It's like it is part of my home, not just because I love Spain now at the moment, but also because it's offering me a lot of opportunities as well to do my work. I'm a yoga teacher. I'm a holistic therapist. That's a whole other topic in itself. But there's such a beautiful community in Spain of holistic therapists and yoga teachers. It's just amazing. But I just remember that being the turning point for me in 2007, returning back to Spain and seeing that difference. And also realizing that this was going to spark off many different things. And now I'm making this video in 2017, and there's so many different organizations that are holding space and acting as platforms for people of different cultures, helping people to understand and to connect and to, just to be open about the different cultures that make up Spain today, and also to share the history of Spain, because it's fascinating to see that many Spaniards don't know that there is a rich diversity in its history, and all the things that you typically think are Spanish, actually a lot of them have roots in Africa and other places as well. So it's just been such a beautiful experience to see that change. And nowadays, if someone were to ask me, which it happens often, they ask me, is Spain still racist? Do you experience a lot of racism? I would say that I experience more curiosity. And there's a big difference. Being curious, asking questions, I don't mind that. If someone is openly being negative towards me, then obviously, and especially if it's something direct, then I will take it as racism. But for the most part, it's more curiosity. People are surprised. People want to ask questions. Maybe they don't know how to ask the questions, so maybe it comes out as a very clumsy question. For example, I have dreadlocks. I've had dreadlocks for a very long time. I'm proud of my natural hair. And people don't know how to, Spaniards specifically, they don't know how to ask questions related to my hair. I remember getting questions as well in the middle of summer where I tan very deeply. And I remember one of my flatmates, he was looking at me one day, and this was after I came back from the beach. And I had a huge tan on, and I loved the summer because I get such a beautiful, rich brown color. And he looked at me and he was just surprised, and I was wondering why he was surprised. And he said to me that he couldn't believe that people, especially people who are dark-skinned, could even tan. Just simple things like that. It's not coming from a racist place. It's coming more from curiosity. But of course, eventually, sometimes you still do get the odd person who is openly negative, and then I had a very recent experience of this, which shocked me. It was from an older gentleman. I won't go into too much detail, but it was an older gentleman, and it was a legal setting, so that's why I don't want to talk too much about it. But we were doing a legal transaction, and the comments that he came out with were very direct and open, and openly machista and openly racist. Luckily, I kept my cool, and I did make that person know that they were completely in the wrong for saying what they said. But it just reminded me that in this day and age, not just in Spain, but in many different parts of the world, there is still many people who have a very negative point of view about people of color, about other cultures, and it's an opportunity, I think, for people to start to be more open, and specifically for Black people to travel. I think the more Black people travel, and the more they share through food, through culture, through languages, and all the wonderful things that being a Black person or person of color is today, the more people learn as well. So if you're thinking about coming to Spain, I will share so many links below in the description box about so many different topics, but I do really encourage you to come along. There have been many times where I've researched videos or researched experiences about different countries related to this topic, and some of them were quite negative. And for the first time going to a new city or a new country and hearing all these negative reviews, I would be a bit cautious. I wouldn't know what to expect. And then I would go to the country or city and realize that my experience was completely different. Just having those situations makes me realize, and also makes me want to encourage anyone out there who maybe is looking at this topic about racism in Spain and is hearing a lot of negativity. I still encourage you to come and have your own experience, to learn about it and to see what comes up for you, because I think this is the beauty about traveling. This is the beauty about connecting with people from different cultures. The more people connect, the more people travel, the more people are curious and want to share and ask questions, the more people learn. And Spain is going through a big turning point at the moment, not just within the different regions, but also culturally, racially, through social platforms, through organizations, through so many different ways. Spain is going through a huge change at the moment. And I feel the more positive images and more connection that they have from different cultures, the better it is for people to understand what it is like in different parts of the world, not just from a Spaniard point of view, but also from an outsider point of view as well. So do come along to Spain, have a good time, enjoy the food, the weather, and don't worry about any ignorance. There's ignorance everywhere. That's one thing that I've realized over the years. I love to travel, and the more I travel, the more I realize how ignorance is not just in one country. It's absolutely everywhere. It comes in so many different shapes and so many different forms, but the more we share our own experiences and the more we learn from each other, the better things will become. And I'm trying to be positive on that. So, yeah, these are my raw reflections on how I feel about Spain today, how I felt about Spain in the past, and how I feel Spain is going at the moment. And I'm very positive it's expanding, evolving in a good way as well. So please share your experiences. If you've come to Spain or you're thinking about coming to Spain, please leave a comment below. Check out the links that I'm going to share below as well, because they will go into so much more detail than I can go into in this video. So yeah, thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. Have a lovely day. Bye.